Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz here with you. Thanks for joining us as we are checking in live from New Orleans, Super Bowl week Radio Row, as we are counting down just hours away from the big game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. On today's show, I got an exclusive with Fox Sports' Jay Glazer. The NFL insider gave us an update on DK Metcalf's situation. And we got some juicy comments from Jay that we'll bring you first right here on Seahawks Today. Before we do, folks, want to make sure you subscribe to the channel as we're bringing you content, whether it's here on Radio Row in New Orleans or it's our daily news and rumors, breaking news, Q&A mailbags, live shows, not just once but twice a week here on the channel. Sub it up. I want to get at least 50 subscribers off today's video. If you love the Seattle Seahawks, this is the channel for you. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. So Jay Glazer of Fox Sports, got the chance to chat with him this week here in New Orleans. Of course, he'll be on the pregame coverage on the Fox broadcast network of Super Bowl 59. That's where this game, of course, will be aired with Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady and the lovely Aaron Andrews and Tom Rinaldi on the call. And Jay, I got the chance to ask him about several different players and about where they could potentially end up, and he gave me some pretty interesting insights on what's going on with DK Metcalf and his situation with Seattle. Without further ado, let's get right to it. Here's what Jay Glazer had to say.
Jay, what's going on with DK Metcalf? Do you expect him to stick in Seattle or potentially get dealt here?
That's an interesting question there. I think teams will probably listen. I mean, I think the way the league is now, everybody listens. I actually had to talk with the GM about this not too long ago because the team called him about a player, and he was like, I'm not going to listen. I said, hey, dude, listen. You never know when someone's going to offer you the craziest deal. You might as well listen. So, and just the way the league has been lately, I think it'll be, they'll at least listen.
Any teams specifically that come to mind?
Here we go. I gotta take him real quick. I'm sorry. No.
Now, what you couldn't see is Jameis Winston all of a sudden showed up, and we didn't get the full answer to that next part of the question, but you get the idea. So what Glazer said, Seattle listening to potential trade offers for DK Metcalf. And it was interesting to hear from Glazer because he is well connected, obviously, and he's good friends with John Schneider. And it sounds like that, in fact, he is kind of encouraging Seattle to listen to potentially offers for DK Metcalf in pushing John that direction of sorts, that he was saying not only does he think they are listening, but they should be listening. And you know what? I think Jay is right to an extent. Although I am against the idea personally of trading DK Metcalf. I don't believe you're going to get the return on investment, what you're looking for, that the trade market at the wide receiver position has dwindled, that I rather keep DK and pay him as opposed to the lack thereof I would get on the trade market for him. That's how I feel. But as Jay points out, it only takes one team. It only takes one offer that could change everything, and you say to yourself all of a sudden, you know what? Maybe we should consider trading him. So I think Jay may be onto something here. Should the Seahawks trade DK Metcalf? It is our pinned comment today. Weigh in, let us know. Type Y for yes. N for no. Chime in the comment section and let me know what you think if the Seahawks should trade DK Metcalf or not. Now, when I look at this situation, when it comes to DK Metcalf and all here, the thing that I keep pointing back on is if you were to trade DK, let's say 2 years ago, when he was, talking about an extension or be traded, the last time around that they did this, you could have traded him for a first-round pick back then. But since the Stephon Diggs trade and a few other things, the wide receiver market, guys just aren't going for first-round picks anymore that are at DK's talent level of sorts. At best right now, you're looking at maybe a second and a fifth, and that might be generous, potentially speaking, but as Jay mentioned, it only takes one team. It only takes one team with an offer you can't refuse. And I was also talking to Peter Schrager about this of Fox Sports the other day. And Schrager brought up an interesting point as well. He was saying that he wants to kind of see what this new offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, has envisioned for this offense in Seattle here. Is the vision of this offense with DK in it, or are they building this thing around JSN and try to make him the feature player and potentially could do without DK and go for more offensive linemen here? It's interesting. I can tell you that much. More to come here on Seahawks Today here in just a moment, but first let's tell you about our sponsor. That is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 or more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. PrizePicks has got 2 great deals they're offering right now. They will give you $50 to play for free when you play $5. You don't even have to win to get the money. On top of that, right now, folks, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. The big game is almost here. It's now or never. Don't miss out on the last football game of the season with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the big game. PrizePicks is also giving away a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes will only need to throw 1 yard to win. If you're correct in at least one more stat projection, you can win real cash. I am going with Patrick Mahomes to have more than half a passing yard. Also going with Saquon Barkley to have more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. If I put $20 down and both those hit, that turns into $50 on PrizePicks. Play along with me, PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. PrizePicks, proud partner of Seattle Seahawks Today. Glad to have them on board here on today's show. All right, so let's continue now with this discussion here about Jay Glazer's comments. We played them for you earlier of him saying that he believes the Seahawks are listening to offers from DK and that they should be listening to offers from DK. At the end of the day, I think what's going to happen here, some of you are going to end up saying, Seattle doesn't have a cap space. They can't afford to keep DK and all this. Well, we laid it all out for you in our Cut Candidates video just a couple weeks ago. The Seahawks easily, just with a few moves, can open up about $77 million in money, and they just opened up $14 million with the way they restructured Leonard Williams the other day. So I don't want to hear anything about money if they can afford him or not. If they want DK, they can get a deal done. There's the money there to get a deal done. All right? So it's just a matter of, would you rather spend that money on DK or spend it elsewhere on something else, like offensive line help or something? It's not whether you can afford to or not. That's not the decision here. It's do you want to? And what I expect, and I was talking to a friend of the show, Coleman Brown, about this the other day. I do think that this extension coming up for DK will be his last contract in Seattle. I think that you're looking at somewhere between a 2 and 4 year deal, probably about a 3-year deal, and that will be the last contract he signs with the Hawks. I don't think he's going anywhere. We'll see how contract negotiations go, but for as good as JSN is, I don't think we talk about enough of how much pressure DK took off of JSN and opened up things for JSN to excel the way that he did and helped out Geno Smith tremendously. So I don't think he's getting traded, but we'll continue to talk about it until we get a solution one way or the other. By the way, we are in New Orleans for the big game, Chiefs and Eagles. I want to know who you got. You going with the Chiefs or are you going with the Birds? I got the Chiefs. Kansas City over Philadelphia, 30-27. That is my official prediction. Give me your prediction in the comments section, who you got for the big game this Sunday. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. For continuing Seahawks coverage, subscribe now for free. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us from New Orleans. Big thanks to Jay Glazer for stopping by and joining us, and we will see you next time right here on the channel.